So here is the pre-market analysis that I have up right here. As you can see, the market is putting in some very nice order flow. I would really like to see, at the open, the market come manipulate these highs and then try and push through this rising channel that we have right here. But essentially, we've accumulated just so much, especially to the upside. We're now delivering within that accumulation and bullish market structure that you see that I have highlighted here. So I'd like to see it continue that bullish market structure in about 35 seconds up to here, and then a quick spike down. Why does this always happen? Of course this happens. All right, and we're good. Probably just missed a little bit of the open. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the pivots indicator. See what we have going on here. I'm gonna pop on the indicator just one more time, take a look, see what we're doing. So right now we are wick rejecting the low of the range. As you can see right here, we're also wick rejecting this rising channel. For pivots, I will go ahead and place a buy order here just in case. Probably risk around 2 units. We're going to go ahead and place that in. Now, if we do, I don't love these shorts at the moment for ORB, but we'll see. Now that you guys understand my analysis, I'm going to go ahead and clear all the drawings. Keep that in your head. We did just wick reject this key level. I would love to see a wick rejection here and then a candle closure above the ORB range, and that would be beautiful. At the moment, if we close below the low of this range, I really don't want that. There's nothing really driving it. As you guys know, the high probability positions would be having a candle closure either above or below the high or low of the day, and or having a wick rejection of the range and then a candle closure in the opposite direction, and or manipulating the high or low of the day and then closing in the opposite way of that. I am going to go ahead and switch into market buys here just in case. I'm going to go ahead and start setting my stop loss just in case in the next couple minutes here we do get triggered. Stops will be at 25,314. Take profit. I'm just going to go ahead and set at 25,520. It's only about 200 of risk. If we do close below this low, you got to be using the smallest amount of risk possible. It's just not a good position. It looks like we're not closing below. So already V1 has already lost its expected value. Essentially, V1 for ORB is going to produce the best results within the first 5 minutes of the open, which is this candle here. Unfortunately, we didn't trigger. All right, looks like we're trying to tap in above here. I'm actually going to prioritize ORB, so I'm going to get rid of these pivots buys. Volume is just absolutely horrible today. I assume if we look at the earnings reports here, AMAT and ANET are the only semi-high beta stocks coming out today. Airbnb is also a little bit of a higher beta stock as well. Overall, it's not a Netflix or Palantir or an Amazon, so that's why the volume might be a little bit lower. Usually when we have these 8:30 red folder news events coming out, usually that means, we'll have more volume, but we're just not getting it this morning. Informing the community that V1 is already losing its EV. Stands for expected value. Now, the only thing I do like is that we are having these wick rejections, meaning like this last wick rejection here is confirming a little bit more of this sell. But again, we didn't have this all happen within the first 5 minutes, so it's, not as high probability as I'd like it to be. I don't love this position, but we're going to go ahead, enter 2 short contracts. I am going to get rid of the pivots indicator now. So we're doing lower risk today on ORB primarily because we just did not close within the first 5 minutes. But the one thing I actually really love about this position is the wick rejection that we have on the range here. We are moving into some profit. I am going to go ahead and start protecting my position just a little bit above the range here. It's a nice little melt. So it is rejecting these levels that we see here. The most important one being the low of the day. So we'll be all right at the moment. I do really like that 15-minute candle. I'm going to go ahead and move our stops around 25% of the way here since price has already moved 25% in profit. So we're already decreasing our risk a little bit more. One of the biggest things about trading is just managing your risk, right? We have essentially a positive win rate with this system. We have a positive risk to reward. And we have a way to manage the risk to decrease our losses even on trades that don't even fully go into a 1-to-1 profit. That's why you're seeing me get payouts almost every other week. We did wick reject this level here. We were mitigating a little bit of fair value right here. If we start rejecting this level, I'll probably move my stops a little bit lower down here. Would love to see this candle close below this level. If we wick reject this level, we will have to start protecting a little bit more. Based on risk to reward, our 1-to-1 area is around here. I just mark this line, get rid of this. There's a good chance IFVG traders on the 32nd tried to enter this long right here. They all got trapped right here. On the 32nd, we are starting to develop some bearish market structure. If we start to change character around this area here, we will have to where we go. Okay. So price is now continuing that bearish structure. We're coming to hit that 1-to-1 area. Because of that, I am going to start moving my stops about halfway through here. So we now have decreased our risk by 50%. I really do not want to see these wicks develop on this liquidity level. If we start developing really strong wicks around this level, we can very well reverse. Need to tell the chat, moving stops to 50%, E1 orb. So levels we now need to be paying attention to are these little 30-second intervals. We want to see how we react on those. If it closes a wick rejection on this level, I'm going to be extremely happy. I would love to see some volume kick in here. That'd be nice. I don't think there's anything else coming up for the calendar today. Basically it. I will be back shortly. That's nice to come back to. Price not going my direction. Would like to see that wick rejection though. As time goes on, expected value goes down, so we're now going to move our stops even more, 75% of the way. So we are pretty well protected at this point. I would like to see us come break below these lows before I move break even. Price can still very well come into this fair value and start heading back down. But at this point, it's hard to tell. We are closing us some wicks here. If this candle closes with a little bit more bearish strength, we should see that next candle come down lower. If we actually come into the 15-second here, this is building up as a trend line, as we can see right here. And we do want to see that start to break that trend line just a little bit. Here is that downwards momentum here. There we go. There's that break below the trend. At this point, going break even is a very, very smart idea. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Break even is very well necessary here. Just go ahead and tell the group. Where are they? There's that nice push. I am going to go ahead and start trailing into profit just above this high. I'm telling you, when you move your stops into profit and into BE, it's almost a better feeling. It's a better feeling than hitting take profit. What an amazing 2 weeks for ORB. I think I just said yesterday we're on a 9-day win streak. If we hit TP, I don't want to jinx it. But we're going to be hitting 10 days of straight wins for ORB on B1 with a positive risk to reward. So it looks like we're starting to reject here at the lows of the day, just right there. I won't even be upset if we hit our trail stop. I'm going to give us a little tick benefit of the doubt here. There we are, wick rejecting the lows. How's ORB doing right now? Or pivots, looks like pivots. Pivots is also starting to float into some profit. So pivot sell stops are right here. It looks like the TP is in a very similar area. Oh, there we go, and that's a TP hit. Hopefully me walking you guys through my decision making was helpful all the way from the pre-market analysis all the way to hitting TP here. This is a fresh new Apex account, and as you can see, we are now in profit for this account, which is really, really nice to see. But another banger day. If you guys do want access to the exact same systems that I use to trade, I'm going to leave those in the description below. Everything is made completely in-house and by myself. But yeah, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.